alongside J.D. Allen on tenor saxophone, Igmar Thomas on trumpet, Luques Curtis on bass, and Rudy Royston on drums. That is Southern California's own Lisa Hilton, with a fresh interpretation of Miles Davis's modal anthem, So What? That coming from Lisa's new album, Extended Daydream, released back in late November via her own Ruby Slipper Productions. And right now, we are so fortunate because we are joined on Breaking Jazz by the leader of that recording date, the award-winning composer and pianist, Lisa Hilton. Lisa, welcome to Breaking Jazz. So happy to have you.
Thanks, Matt. That was quite an introduction.
Oh, of course. I could have gone on for minutes like an Igmar Thomas solo.
Oh, I know. That is my favorite song. I kind of can't believe that we recorded it, and it is the most exciting day I've ever had in the studio in my life. So, we decided to, when we were recording, we did a few other pieces first just to kind of warm up. And then I said, okay, let's do So What? And nobody really said anything. There's just kind of quiet, and I thought, oh, what am I doing? This is So What? And we just started off, and it was amazing. It was the most powerful, exciting moment I've ever had in the studio. So when you're on the stage, all the players face out to the audience, as they should. But we're in the studio, everybody's facing me, and the power and the energy of their music was amazing. And that was the first take. So we don't do any rehearsals, Matt. And I said, okay, let's do So What? And someone kind of asked a question. I'm like, just, go with it or whatever. And that's what we got. And I love it. I can listen to it all day.
That was genuinely the first take.
Yes.
Wow.
No rehearsals at all.
Wow.
And I didn't know what to expect.
Well, yeah, and chime in here, but for me, it brings a smile to my face listening to Igmar play that, because I think, for any jazz trumpet improviser, that tune is still kind of the proving ground.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because for a lot of it, he's exposed out there, and that it's on him. He's like a pitcher at Yankee Stadium. It could be a lonely place to be if you're not someone of incredible confidence and assuredness in your ideas and your facility and your technique and so on.
Yeah. So, like I said, well, it's all happens in the moment. I didn't know what to expect at all. And then I thought JD did an amazing job too. JD Allen on the tenor sax. I love it when he goes and hits bottom, boom,
Yeah.
he always hits that hard bottom. I love that. And I love Igmar's kind of squishy notes at the top. I love that. I don't like perfect notes, Matt. I like them when they're all kind of stretched out of shape a little bit. And then I thought,
notes with some lived experience.
yeah, some like personality,
Yeah, right.
Not
right.
classical music. We're not trying to be perfect. And I like the character that's in there playing and the notes. And then I love how Luques, the bass player, came on so strong. He's playing exactly what's written on the page, but with his own personality to it. And then Rudy was amazing. He really kind of amped everyone up. If you listen to it, you can hear how he's kind of stoking everything. So, what I decided to do for myself is that when I thought about what Bill Evans did on the original recording, and he was mostly accompanying them, as you should on that particular piece. And so I thought I would do a modal introduction and then, and finale on it. And so I just accompanied them, but I was in the front row seat. It was really fun.
That's pretty cool. Something that struck me is, it takes some audacity, I think, in a good way, to start an album with that particular tune. It's the most famous tune from the most famous jazz album ever made. And, what's the thinking? Maybe that's why when you called it, they were like, oh man, really? Like, she's throwing down the gauntlet here. Like, whoa. I mean, that's a lot of gravity.
Well, I chose it because I like it. And if I'm going to work on somebody else's music, I want to love it because I'm going to spend quite a bit of time. And, I researched it and thought about what everyone was playing and wondered, what was going on here. So as a composer, I'm learning about how they went about it and treated it. So I wasn't really thinking of it until we got in the studio. I'm like, oh no, this is kind of bold. But I wanted to put it first on the album, and one of my engineers said, "You shouldn't do that," but I wanted to, and I think there's so much energy to it. I just wanted to start with that. It's one of my favorite tunes, like I
I
said.
I think if you don't start with it, it feels like you're hiding from it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
No,
playing
I think it's the I look again, layman's perspective, but it felt like the right choice to me. And I appreciate that, and you guys sound great on it. Um, you've played with Rudy and with JD for a long time now. The chemistry that you have with JD is something I'd like to talk about because it really shows up on the next cut I'm going to play in just a couple minutes, the
okay.
title track. What has your sort of journey been with JD in terms of building that kind of on the bandstand rapport?
Well, I have a loose sense of rhythm, which is fine. I'm a jazz performer. I don't want to play to a metronome. That's not my goal. Um,
Right.
But I noticed when I started playing with JD, which was really quite a while ago, maybe 15 years or more, he has a very loose sense too. And if you listen to any of his ballads, he's able to keep uh the rhythm going, but he's just very loose. And so I think his looseness and my looseness, I love how it works together. And then if you got someone like Rudy Royston, who has worked with JD a million times, who was in his original trio. And then of course Luques is an incredible bass player. So I've always felt that it worked. The very first time we played live together, JD and I noticed what was going on and I always liked it. So and he has a beautiful tone, doesn't he? A beautiful deep tone. So the tune that you said is coming up next, Extended Daydream. So it's been a rough year, of course, in 2025. But I don't want my goal isn't to write sad music. My goal is to try and, lift people. But how can you? We lived through these terrible wildfires here in Southern California. There's kinds of things going on politically and around the world. So I started thinking about when we have daydreams, that's really we're hoping for our future. So it's a daydream is about what we hope for. So an extended daydream is what we need to do when things are looking a little rough. We don't just daydream when things are going well. We need to extend our daydreams, extend our hopes, even when things look pretty rough. So
You need to develop a practice of daydreaming. It's a practice.
well, you can't,
Maybe.
have
It's
hope when the things are going wrong. It's not going to
sure.
work for you.
Yeah. You don't want to bury your head in the
Yeah.
sand.
So when we got in the studio, I had just added that little floaty line with the piano. There's a repetitive motif in the piano line. And that is, to me, represents the passage of time. And so we went to go and record it. And I just said at the last minute, I'm like, JD, do you want to do an intro to this? And so he did, and that's a beautiful intro to this piece. It just shows his tone and capacity, what he comes up with at the last minute. So the song to me is kind of like a prayer. We have to, really be able to keep our spirits up. And the hope, like I said, when things are looking difficult. And after we finished recording it, JD said, it really touched me. So I felt that I was able to the music was able to get through emotionally. So,
Well, the chemistry and the conversational interplay between you and JD is really apparent when you listen to this. And now you've heard sort of the backstory from the maestro herself. So let's introduce the tune and then play some music because that's what we're here to do. Alongside Luques Curtis on bass and Rudy Royston on drums, this is pianist Lisa Hilton featuring tenor saxophonist J.D. Allen, the title track from her most recent release, Extended Daydream, and it's Breaking Jazz. Okay, Lisa, so I'm going to play this one, and then Spacious Skies, and we'll come back and talk after Spacious Skies, okay?
Okay. This is Tropical Tuesday. No, this is Mystery.
Oh my God, you're right.
But
Oh God, I hit the wrong cut.
we can work with it.
Well, you know what? No problem. We'll hit Extended Daydream next, and then we'll backfill.
Well, it'll be fine.
Perfect. Good catch. Thank you. So back here on Breaking Jazz, my name is Matt Silver, and we're so glad to be joined this evening by the wonderful Lisa Hilton, award-winning pianist and composer. And what just happened is we didn't so much play the wrong note, we just played a note that we didn't intend to play, which, as Miles Davis tells us, there's no such thing as a wrong note, just the right one is right around the corner. So you just got to find what that next note is and make sure that that's the right note. But at any rate, we just heard Momentary Mystery from Lisa Hilton, another feature for J.D. Allen there alongside Luques Curtis and Rudy Royston. What we had intended to play was the title track, but we will get to that in just a second. But since we played that sort of nice little noirish thing there, I wanted to ask you about that one, Momentary Mystery, and it does kind of sound as though it would have been taken from a film noir sort of hard-boiled mid-century thing. So tell me about that one.
I love that one. I don't know if it's everybody's favorite, but I love that one, and I love how it came out. There's one part in JD's improvisation where he goes, like that. So if you listen to it, it's about 4 minutes in, and I left it in where he kind of goes, you know, in the middle of his improvisation. So I think it really swings. I like the kind of mystery of it. A lot of times in our life, we really don't know what's going to come next. We're a little nervous, anxious. Anybody anxious, you know? So I think that song embodies that for me. But I love just the um, kind of staccato, quiet little approach that we have. And then it opens up into the big improv section and a great bass coming in there. So I don't know, it's fun to play. I love it.
It brought to mind for me a great tune that Joshua Redman wrote
Oh,
in the late 90s, early 2000s called Jazz Crimes, and it had a similar
oh,
sort of film noir thing
uh-huh.
that is just sort of very alluring and intoxicating.
Oh.
But so compares favorably, I would say. Both
Oh,
wonderful tunes. But right now, why don't we go into that title track? Because if I make promises, I need to be a man of my word. And this is really one of my favorite tunes of the album. And like I said, the chemistry between yourself and J.D. Allen is palpable, and you can really feel the musical conversation happening in real time. So let's take a listen to that one, and then we'll come back in a few and chat some more. Okay.
okay.
This is Lisa Hilton with the title track to her latest, Extended Daydream, featuring J.D. Allen on tenor saxophone here, and this is Breaking Jazz. And then Lisa, like I said, we'll come back and we can talk about Spacious Skies a little bit afterwards, because I'd love to talk about that one, because that was the first one that got me.
Okay. Well, that's what you said. So I'm happy. They're all my babies, but I really like Momentary Mystery, so I was glad you put that one on. I
No, I'm
I love what the improvisation happened on that. I love that. So,
perfect. Perfect.
okay.
All right. I aim to please, even when I don't mean to. Okay. All right, and just in the nick of time.
I don't have the
Beautiful.
most reliable internet, so
Well, we're doing just fine.
yeah. Okay.
We're doing just fine. That's a beautiful piece from Lisa Hilton, solo piano, titled "Spacious Skies." That from her new album, Extended Daydream. Matt Silver here with you, Breaking Jazz, bringing you the music and musicians of the moment, jazz and the jazz adjacent universe as it exists today in real time. And in real time, we have Lisa Hilton guesting with us on this evening. And so great to have Lisa here with us and talk about her album, talk about her music. And I know she has such a great band that she's working with on this record. It goes without saying, those guys are all just monsters, monster players. But there's something that is so arrestingly beautiful and warm about that solo piano piece that we just heard. And I love that it's your album's closer, because my own tendency here when programming this show for a Sunday night, I love to close with something warm and beautiful. It's Sunday night. There's always sort of that vague trepidation about the week that lies ahead. And maybe there's something that's just really pretty that allows people just for a second to feel that, well, maybe everything is going to be okay after all. To me, it's obvious. The title of the tune brings America the Beautiful to mind, Spacious Skies. When you were constructing this one, were you aiming to evoke a certain hopeful feeling in people? We're talking about how much people have to worry about these days, and this is sort
Yeah.
of this is an extended daydream, really.
Well, thank you for all that. I like to end with something calm because I need to calm down after a performance. I
Right.
need to kind of cool
Sure.
off and calm down. So I like to end with something calm. I sometimes people say you need to, have like a garbage can ending or something wild, but I need to calm down. So I'm glad you like that.
I love
Um,
it.
so, oh, beautiful for spacious skies.
Right.
So I like that phrase. I think, Matt, we take our skies, we take our nature, we take our world for granted. And when you see what's happening in certain parts of the world where it will take years or decades to recover after, turmoil and tragedy. So I just believe in nature. I believe it is what feeds my soul and it's healing to everybody. And I feel that we should be good caretakers of our environment. Um we should be thankful for our skies every day. The sun rises and the sun sets no matter what's going on in the world. And so this song kind of is an entreaty for us to be better stewards of our planet, of nature. And you can kind of hear in there, oh, beautiful for spacious skies. It's not at all the same melody, but it's the idea that this is our beauty. It's free, it's nature, and we should take care of it. So I'm glad that it touched you. And
Yeah, it makes me feel comfortable, makes me feel safe, makes me feel like I'm in a safe place.
yeah,
And if I've got some trepidation or foreboding about whatever it is to come, this sort of it helps me put it in perspective, and maybe it does for some others as well. Um, the way we started our conversation about you coming on the show was after you heard my interview with Nicole Zaritis. And one of the things that Nicole has become known for is her embrace of not just the classical real book standards, but the so-called modern songbook. And I think you share that inclination. And I'm all leading up to playing Wildflower, but I want to kind of get into it. Um, you certainly share that ability to take a pop standard from really any era and sort of fit it through the prism of your own musical sensibility without being too heavy-handed about it, I think, which is a skill. And on this record, you work that magic of yours on a tune called Wildflower, which is you don't expect to find a tune written by Billie Eilish on a jazz record, but there it is. Written by Billie Eilish and her brother Phineas O'Connell. So what about that tune made you think, yeah, I think I can do something meaningful and interesting with this one?
Well, I only want to work on music that I'm really interested in. I told you that about Miles Davis. And I try and have, I don't know why we all can only in jazz, we can only play music from, the last century, mid-century. So why there's so many great composers today. And in addition, when you look at the jazz songbook, all of those are male composers and everything
Hmm.
that you listen to. So why I want to be recognized as a composer and I want to say, hey, there's a lot of great women who are composers. So I have recorded Lana Del Rey a couple of times, Taylor Swift. Why not? She's a great composer. And I was thrilled to work on a Billie Eilish piece. It it's it's kind of tricky. She's a great composer. She's a great singer. Her voice goes like this. So it's a little trickier to do on the piano. And then she's accompanied by Phineas, who's on guitar. Not in every version, but sometimes her acoustic version. So it was really fun to work on it. I enjoy playing it. It's a song about regret, and everybody seems to relate to it. What I really like, I didn't know how the band would take to it or not, but this is what I brought to the band. And I told Igmar Thomas, the trumpeter, who's from San Diego, by the way. Um,
Is Igmar from San Diego? I didn't know
oh,
that.
he's an amazing player. I asked him, where did you learn how to play like that? But he grew up in San Diego. So I asked Igmar if he could use a mute on his trumpet. I said, that's what I hear in this piece. And right out the bat, he plays that beautiful muted trumpet. And the thing that impresses me most about his performance is that at the very end of the piece, he takes his muted trumpet and goes high, which we call altissimo, and holds that note for a long time. And this is an improvised line in the moment. So that to me shows complete musical prowess to be able to do, hey, I'm just going to sing this high note with a mute on and hold it for a long time at the end. So every time I hear it, I always wait for that last note too. Um, I I know that there's what's very popular for jazz musicians to play Beatles tunes or Stevie Wonder. I like them, but I'm really interested in music from this millennium too. So
Well, you're on the right show because that's
yeah,
sort of my
I get
that's
it.
my hobby horse or bailiwick or
Yeah.
whatever.
So why not? There's great composers, terrific composers. And it's been fun to see how, Lana Del Rey, I kind of think her music can be considered the blues because that is the whole idea behind the blues. And then there's some interesting harmonic ideas in Wildflower. And I noticed that that album is up for a Grammy. When I chose that song, I thought it was a great song. I didn't know it would be up for a Grammy, that album. So, um, you know, they're an incredible team, Billie Eilish and her brother Phineas. So I'm glad you like it too.
Well, and something that we too easily forget, I think, is that all the standards that comprise the real book, what we think of as the canon, all these were popular songs.
I know. So why not? So those were all the popular
It,
composers of the day, whether
yes, there.
Cole Porter or any of those. What about My Favorite Things? That was used in a Walt.
Of course.
So
Of course. I think that there is something that is essential to jazz about continuing to riff and comment on the popular music of the day, and I think that's important.
and I mentioned I like bringing in women as composers too, because your whole jazz catalog, it was all written by men, which is fine. But then when you go into a jazz club or when you go into a performing arts center and they're playing jazz, then you listen to 90 minutes and those compositions were all by men. Or if you, same thing if you listen to classical music or opera. So, hey, it's time that we mix things up a little bit. So,
Well, that's why you and Nicole would have so much to talk about because between her doing gosh, who am I thinking of? Uh, uh, Fleetwood Mac's singer. Why is her name it's now escaping me now that I need it most. But she did an entire sort of two records, I think, of her takes on female, from Dolly Parton to Joni Mitchell to again, gosh, what is her? That's going to bug me, Fleetwood Mac. But she does a tremendous job with it, and her, her thinking on the matter is simpatico with yours. One thing that I've always wanted to ask jazz musicians recording instrumental versions of popular tunes is this, and this goes for Great American Song Standards, and it goes for tunes of today that you're interpreting. To what extent do you take the lyrics into account when deciding how to approach the tune musically, even knowing that it is an instrumental piece?
yeah, that's a really smart question. It's a hard one. The basically the rule is you should always know the lyrics and you should always be performing to the lyrics. And originally I used to do that. But I think that instrumental musicians, we work on a different level. We have a different language. And I think that now I know generally what the song is about. And I try and take direction from that, but I don't try and be literal anymore. I don't try and match the notes to the words. I know when we did the Taylor Swift song Snow on the Beach, which is a beautiful tune. I know Rudy did some little fingery snow sounds on the drums, but generally we're trying to create a mood. And if we wanted lyrics, there would be lyrics in there. But those a lot of these songs, they really stand on their own as a Cole Porter song or anybody else's song, a George Gershwin. So I I I don't I'm not literal with the lyrics anymore. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's a good answer. And I think that you could, go to different musicians and get a different answer to that too. So I appreciate having people on who don't give me the same thing as everyone else. So thank you, Lisa. You've got a mind and a sensibility all your own, and that's why you're a great artist, and that's why I'm thankful to have you on this program. I am going to end with that tune we had been discussing for the last several minutes, your take on Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell's Wildflower on it, joined by Luques Curtis on bass, Rudy Royston on drums, and like you said, this is a feature for Igmar Thomas on muted trumpet from Lisa Hilton's most recent release, Extended Daydream, from Ruby Slipper Productions, available wherever fine music is sold, I'm sure, on all the streaming platforms and so on and so forth. The streaming platforms, that's another conversation for another time, a longer conversation. But hopefully we'll have another longer conversation. You're welcome on the show, Lisa. Really, anytime you want, just say the word.
Thanks for having me.
Such a pleasure and an honor. And thank you for your music and continued success.
Really appreciate it.
All right, so without further ado, Lisa Hilton with Wildflower, and it's Breaking Jazz. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Oh, thank you. I love this song so much. I can't stop playing it. It's so beautiful.
It's a nice one. It's a nice one. Yeah. Well, yeah, you know, and you got me into Billie Eilish, so there you go. You
A few people have said, "Oh," but
broadening my horizons.
I think everyone's respectful of her talents.
Yeah, yeah, for
I
sure.
really think it came out so well when, I didn't know, and he puts on the muted trumpet, and I'm just like, yeah, that's what I wanted. It's beautiful. But now you have to listen to the last note.
Okay, I will.
That's pure trumpet prowess at the end.
He's great. Have you heard the big band album he led?
I have heard a couple pieces from it, but I haven't heard the whole.
It's cool. It's super cool.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Mark Ruffin said this is what jazz is going to sound like in the future.
Yes, he's got a lot. Yes, it's a contemporary big band album, and there are a lot of myriad different influences in there. It's really, really interesting, and great musicians on it too. Really, like a powerhouse.
Really, really nice guy too.
Is he? I didn't know. That's such a. I hadn't known he was in San Diego. I missed on that one. I wonder where. I wonder where he went. Does he probably studied? Did he study like Gilbert Castellanos and the Young Lions and all that stuff? Does that ring a bell?
I asked him where he learned, because if you're ever 2 feet away from him on the bandstand when he starts to go off, it's really impressive, So I don't really know where he learned. He goes, I don't know how to answer that. I asked him a couple times, but he's an incredible player, and he loves to play. When he's sitting off to the side, he'll be playing, quietly to himself. So I'm so thrilled. He and Luques were roommates at Berklee College of Music, and they're still friends.
Okay, yeah. I've seen Luques, and I've seen him perform with his brother countless times. That's a talented pair.
I love Zakai's last album. That was so hot.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, they're awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, and keep up what you're doing. Really appreciate it.
Keep us posted on what you're doing too.
Okay, all right. And Chad sent me a nice email today too. So.
Oh, good.
That was nice. Okay.
Good.
Bye. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa.
All right,
have a good one. See ya.
All right.
Do you want to stay on to listen to the end of the song?
I do.
Okay.
My favorite.
I didn't want to end the thing and close you out.
Don't lose that last note. It's so beautiful.
Okay.
I'm a fan.
That's cool. It's cool when you're a fan of the people you play with, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.